What's going on, guys? We're at Orlando Speed World. We got the Predator swapped Terminator Cobra. Very excited, also nervous because we made some street tuning, test hits, had some issues. I was up late till like 2 a.m. last night, just dialing in so many different things. And we're here. The guys over at TRC invited us to this track rental thing. So I'm not exactly sure what we're filming today, but hopefully we're making some passes with it. I gotta make one, I guess, data logging hit, but I guess the other day we were only running on one fuel pump, one 525. So when I got the new spicy tune from Rob, that's when we started to realize that the other pump wasn't working. So now I feel like we're untested. But I'm gonna get the car cleaned up a little bit. It's dirty. It was a rush to get it ready, but it's here. The blower's on. The belt's still on. That's about all I can say on that. Hopefully it works. So this car's giving me hell, but I loaded a new tune on that Rob, the car's only had like 14 degrees peak of timing before, so Rob added some timing, and then that's when I noticed that the fuel pump thing was an issue. So then I tore the car all apart, fixed it, and then this tune was still giving us issues, but it might not be the tune, which I hope it's the tune, but it's usually not the tune. So I'm loading the previous tune in that definitely worked. If this doesn't work, then my next guess is to pull the plugs and maybe do plugs. I don't know. Something's funky, but we have fuel pressure, both pumps are working, the belt's on, and yeah, hopefully we can figure it out. The fight continues. It appears that the issue is not the tune, as I previously stated. Never doubt Rob. It appears that the alternator is no longer working. Now, I put another alternator in this the other day. That one didn't work. That one was dead. I put the original back in only because I only swapped it originally because this one was like weak on voltage. Now we got no voltage out of the alternator. So we're going to start some basic troubleshooting. Power probe is very helpful. Worst case scenario, even though I have a million Coyote alternators back at the shop, we can just go ahead and get a alternator from a local parts store and swap her out, I guess. That's all we can do. But start with basics, check all fuses. I already checked power at the alternator. It doesn't have it. And you know, we got nice voltage on the battery. So this is the body harness side right here. So this doesn't really matter too much, but if we see something weird, it might pinpoint us to something. Right here, I'm just checking that we have 12 volts on both sides of every fuse. We do. This is the second fuse box. Okay. Ground. Ground. 12 volt. Normal there. So basics wise, we've checked fuses. There are fuses under the dash, but those shouldn't come into play. Say shouldn't, but never rule anything out completely. Now down here at the battery, that's straight 0, ground, but that should be linked to there, right? 12 volt will go directly from the alternator to there, unless something is weird. That is weird. Why is that ground? That shouldn't be ground. It should have the same signal that's right there. So, something's goofy here. It's also really hot. Assume that this right here is the previous owner's alternator power wire. This guy. And when you stab this, it should have the same, but it doesn't. Found our issue. This right here. These are one of those fuses that come on a factory 11 to 14 alternator fuse. I think we might be able to make this a simple fix by removing that post and putting it directly here. The only disadvantage is we don't have a fuse in line in the alternator. Okay, so that's the issue. Now the other question is, why did it blow? So what I can see over here is the power wire for the alternator is stacked up pretty close to this ABS block, and if that was grounding out, it would definitely pop the fuse. Therefore, if we bypass that fuse and that grounds out, it's not gonna be a fun time. So definitely got to fix the issue at hand, and then we can bypass it the incorrect way. Found the issue. It was, wow, look at the mark it made on the ABS. Started to melt the thing there. ABS doesn't work in this car. It's deleted. Well, not fully deleted, but I'm gonna see if anybody here has a wiring splice and make a nice terminal end like that, and we'll go from there. It does look like there's still some meat there that I could potentially make work, but yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, so the boys over at O'Reilly's down the street from the track, they had pretty much everything we needed. We were able to get these terminal connectors. We also got some solder. We got a little torch thing, heated up this, got the solder in there, stuck this in there, and I think it's probably still pretty hot, but it's pretty stuck on there. So I just bypassed the fuse that we were using, tested. We got power here, we got power over there, 12 volts. So now we just need to get this in here and make sure it's safe, so it's not going to ground out on the ABS here, because the ABS actually took a hit. I mean, you saw it. But shout out to the boys over at O'Reilly's. Walked in there, went and looking for this. I asked him for the part number, a different part number. He got us a belt. So shout out to the guys at O'Reilly's. They also watch the channel too, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, put this back together and hopefully finally make a hit. So, another trip to the parts store, O'Reilly's. He let me down. Had to go to AutoZone. But alternator took a crap. Probably should have guessed that from, you know, knowing voltage and stuff. So that one's done. Got an AutoZone reman unit. I hope that this will fit with the power by the hour stuff. Should work. Don't see anything wrong with it. So, just basically got to put this thing on here. That goes there. This goes right there. Little spacer thing goes right there. That's that. Take this guy. Put her there. Did that reverse of how I always have it. All right, so 14.4 volts. So doing a lot better. So we'll wrap this up, bolt this down, and let's go make a hit. 172, new best. Getting closer. Getting closer. Woo! Getting faster and faster. Man, we're gonna have to upgrade this heat exchanger. So, new personal best, 10.7, 134. That's the highest mile an hour we have ever seen in this car. That's now the personal best for the Predator blower setup. I don't know if it's better than the nitrous setup. We went 1070. The setup was pretty dialed, and nitrous hits pretty hard, so it gets a really good 60-foot. But we are battling heat soak. We're also battling hardware issues, which seems like we finally kind of figured out the hardware issues. Now we're battling heat exchanger just not being sufficient enough. So we're probably going to have to look into upgrading that. We put this 07 to 12 GT500 stock heat exchanger in there as a band-aid, just because it's what I had laying around. Already had money into the injectors and the fuel system and the blower and everything else. It's trying to be a little cheap. It doesn't work. It always just ends up wasting time. So we're going to go get that upgraded. Probably get an aftermarket pulley set up, because I'd like to kick this horsepower up to get this thing trapped in like 140. This is running about on par with what a 2020 GT500 runs with the stock pulley. Granted, we're on E85 in a smaller car. We are in a lighter car too, but it isn't a 5.2. It's also a completely different head cam setup. So we're doing about what a stock 2020 GT500 runs, which we have a stock 2020 GT500 setup here. So hopefully we can dial it in, get one last cool down before it rains and before the track rental ends, and then send it and see if we can get into the low 10s. I want to give a huge shout out to Rob at Palm Beach Dyno. It's Sunday, so he has been tuning back and forth with this. He'd probably much rather just have it there on a dyno, but he's been sticking with it and all my hardware issues. So huge shout out to him. We just got another tune revision. We're going to load it in the car and go for hopefully some more impact. 1058, new best. This thing's getting hot. 1058, and it's raining. Hey, I'll fucking take it. First time out. Alright, well, let's get a heat exchanger on order. Let's get a pulley on this thing. Let's fucking go. Woo! It's raining. It's literally raining. Like right as I ended that pass, it's raining. Woo! I don't know if the trans is maybe unhappy, or if we still need to revise the tune. This car's always had an issue on the 1-2 shift, so don't go start blaming Rob. Rob's the fucking man. He's out here fucking tuning this thing. On Sunday, he is the man. Palm Beach Dyno. So we're gonna head back. Yeah, this rain, it looks like it's raining pretty good, so I just barely slid that pass in there. Alright, so we just barely... Wait, what did we film? Did we film anything after that?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
So we just barely made it that pass. Perfect timing. Started raining as I went through the beams. So I was a little careful in the brake as we slowed down, because I was like, well, you know, don't want to slip out being on slicks. But yeah, I mean, we made major improvements. I'm really happy with that. At 1050, at 134. It appears the car is not like happy with the rear gear and tire setup. I was talking with Rob a little bit. We're probably gonna have to change. We have a 26-inch tire and a 373 gear. That's kind of like the equivalent to running like a 410 or better with that really short first gear with the 6R80. It's just not wanting to command that gear with the power level. So we're gonna make some setup changes. We're probably gonna turn up the boost here pretty soon too. But overall, with the crappy start of the morning with the alternator issues and the wire, and then it turned in from not running to an 11.4 to a 1050. So I think that is a major improvement. Huge shout out to Rob. So much more to come on this car and setup. This is like the slowest iteration of this setup there will ever be, and I think we still have a lot of headroom to go on the stock Gen 1 motor. So I think we can push this pretty far into the 9s with just like some pulley and some fine tuning. So make sure to hit the like button if you like the video today. I had Joey helping me out. We'll put a little thing right there, Coffee Joe on Instagram, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you.